So am I okay to kind of say, you know, the New York Times UK correspondent, Jonathan Pie? You know, I need a title. What for? Twitter. I mean, Putin, he's waving his massive KGB willy at us. You know, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. And we're not hard enough. It's like an out-of-date button mushroom down there. What do you think of the tie? Too much? I don't really know what to say. You know, for the first time in my career, there are no words or expletives that can do this situation justice. War crimes are happening right now, from where I'm sat, about 1,000 miles that way. When it comes to sanctions, the EU are going full pelt, seizing billionaires' yachts, their villas, the whole shebang. Problem is, of course, they're still paying Russia for 40% of their gas, 350 million euros a day. So Putin has no shortage of cash rolling in to finance his war machine. And if Europe gets too whingy, he can just turn the gas off. So Putin's got Europe by the short and curlies. What? Pubes. Here in the UK, we don't have quite the same problem. Only 5% of our gas comes from Russia. Here, we're reliant on something far more precious: Russian money. For 20 years, Putin has been using illicit money to fund an oligarchy of billionaires to keep his corrupt regime in power. And for 20 years, those Kremlin-approved oligarchs have been coming here to invest their ill-gotten gains via a loophole that allows people to buy property in the UK anonymously.
These are homes valued at tens of millions of pounds, a cluster of Russian jewels.
Welcome to Londongrad, Moscow-on-Thames. 87,000 homes in Britain were bought through offshore companies by anonymous millionaires. At least £1.5 billion worth of those are owned by Russians with direct links to the Kremlin. London is the money laundering capital of the world, bar none. What an accolade! The London Laundromat, a one-stop corruption shop for anyone who needs to hide their money away with no questions asked. We have let it happen for years because it's how the UK makes money. It's the only industry we have left. Without it, we'd just be a car park for France. Open Britain, where anyone, arms dealer, drug dealer, people trafficker, warlord, or in this case, hundreds of Kremlin-backed millionaires can rinse their dirty money clean by buying up the most expensive houses in London. And, for the most part, leaving them empty, which inflates the market so much that the rest of us have to sell a kidney just to buy a shed. How about we seize all the oligarchs' mansions and hand them over to Ukrainian refugees? Or actually, I'll have the 5-storey mansion in Kensington and the Ukrainian family can just have my place. And when they run out of houses to buy, they buy other things: our football clubs, our newspapers, our vodka. And we were happy to do this, because since the Cold War, Russia hasn't really been a threat at all, has it? I mean, this was Boris Johnson not 4 months ago.
The old concepts of fighting big tank battles on European landmass are over.
That aged well. Speaking of Boris Johnson, he's up to his tits in it as well. Since he became Prime Minister, Tories have accepted £2 million in Russian donations. I know in American terms 2 million is the political donation equivalent of tipping the bellboy, but here we're much more strict. We put a limit on the amount of dirty, illegal, kleptocratic money that our main political parties can take, which has an upside for Putin because it means British politicians are incredibly cheap to buy. In 2020, 14 members of Johnson's government received Russian cash. The Tory party chairman even runs a luxury concierge service that helps oligarchs buy property in London. For years, our government was handing out golden visas to hundreds of millionaires, many with close ties to the Kremlin, buying entry to our country and then influencing policy with their fat checkbooks. So, of course, while the oligarchs' yachts and villas in Europe have been seized, their London mansions remain untouched. Because the dreadful, terrifying truth is, stronger sanctions against Putin are in danger of hurting us more than it does him. And this was Putin's plan all along. For 20 years, he's been slowly neutralizing us as a threat by using our own greed against us. Putin is a vicious, brutal war criminal, a mass-murdering tyrant, but a mass-murdering tyrant we can do business with, right? So what does that make us? Gutless. And Putin, more than most, knows quite how gutless we are. He's been taking the piss for 15 years and watching us do nothing. In 2006, he murdered a political enemy in a busy London restaurant with polonium. In retaliation, we expelled 4 Russian diplomats, the diplomatic equivalent of doing this. In 2018, he did the same again with a chemical nerve agent and nearly took half the cathedral city of Salisbury with him. UK's response? Prince William didn't go to the World Cup final in Moscow. Oh, that'll teach him. But it didn't, did it? Putin is an enemy who has form in overwhelming use of violence, punishing the civilians for choosing democracy. Shame on him. But shame on us. What kind of a democracy allows itself to be willingly undermined by a dictator? What sort of a democracy turns a blind eye when an authoritarian interferes in its elections and murders innocent people in its streets? What's the point of democracy and freedom from tyranny if we welcome money earned through tyranny? But here we are. Our entire way of life, Western democracy, revealed as a charade, a thin veneer behind which is hidden all the money we can stuff in our pockets. A story we tell ourselves to make us feel safe and moral, when in fact we are neither. It's so fucking depressing. There you go, I found the words. Fucking depressing. What do we think about